Why, Johnny, why? That's the question everyone's asking me. I've always been very open and very honest with the NXT universe, so you ask, and I will tell. Aleister, you talk about a path you're on. I'm on a path too. Does it look familiar? This was the path I took the night you were found laying. The end of that path leads me to Tommaso Ciampa. The end of that path leads me to righting a wrong, fulfilling a promise, and me being the one to beat Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship. You got in the way. It's collateral damage. It's nothing personal. I'd like to think you'd appreciate that, seeing as you walk around here like you own the place, black mask whoever you want, no one bats an eye. Talking about how no man is ever truly good. No man is ever truly evil. I feel bad for you. You're confused. That's sad. I know exactly who I am. I'm the good guy. I'm the hero at the end of this story. I do one thing. One little thing that some people may consider evil. And everyone freaks out. Let me calm your worries. I'm still the same Johnny Gargano I always have been. I still fight for what's right. What I've learned is sometimes around here, you gotta fight a little dirty. So that's why, Aleister. Now I know you probably want to kick my face off now. That's fine. I accept that. Maybe I deserve that. But after everything I've been through, I'm not scared of you. I live in a dark place, Aleister. And I'm not afraid of the dark anymore. Actually, I'm kind of starting to like it. That look familiar? That's the same spot I left you laying. Takeover Wargames, I leave you laying again.
You know, Johnny Gargano said something very interesting there. He is the same Johnny Gargano that he has always been. He's the same Johnny Gargano that you and I have come to know and love. He is the hero at the end of this story. He does one little thing bad and people want to jump down his throat for it. Johnny, I love you, bruh. I love you to death. But you ain't no Becky Lynch, man. You ain't no Becky Lynch. You ain't on that level. I'm sorry. I want him to be on that level. I want people to understand where he's coming from. I want to sit here and tell you guys that I hope people just back Johnny in his decision here. But they won't. They won't. Come Los Angeles, come Takeover, come Wargames, Johnny Gargano is the heel in all of this. It's exactly what we all thought once his name was announced as the attacker. Soon as he was revealed as the attacker for Aleister Black, everybody knew why he did it. He wanted Tommaso Ciampa all by himself, and Aleister Black was in the way, and like Johnny said, Aleister was collateral damage. Come Wargames, Johnny is going to be the heel. No matter how many times Johnny wants to say that he's still the same Johnny that we all love and he only did what he felt like he had to do, this is not one of those instances. This is not one of those instances where people are going to look at Johnny and feel bad for him. They're not going to side with Johnny. Aleister Black is the hottest babyface in the entire company. It went from Johnny to Aleister Black like that. And all it took was an injury to Aleister Black that was not planned at all. And now Aleister Black is the biggest babyface in the entire NXT locker room. Johnny is going to be the heel, no question, going into War Games. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. The one thing we have to concern ourselves with here, and I don't think anybody is really mentioning this, is the fact that Aleister Black, this is the way that you need to start looking at it. Aleister Black took Johnny's spot as the hottest. And I mean the white-hot babyface that Johnny was. Aleister Black is that now. The one thing we have to be afraid of, and I hope it's not the case, is Johnny, you know, no matter how many times he wants to say he's the hero and the babyface and the good guy here, we have to worry about Johnny taking Ciampa's heat. We can't have Johnny becoming such a great villain in his own right after what he did here, taking Ciampa's heat. Because that is not fair. That is not fair. That means the storyline is not working the way it should be working. WWE wants to maximize this story in the best way possible. DIY needs to reform. I don't give a shit what they do. I don't give a shit if they're a tag team, if they are just aligned together. I don't care what they do. You need the visual of Johnny standing next to Ciampa. And you need that to resonate to everybody. And you do exactly what the storyline, in my mind, is going to tell. Johnny aligns himself with Ciampa. He becomes the villain. He becomes the villain. And Johnny, from the inside, kills Tommaso Ciampa. He learns about Ciampa. He understands what Ciampa is doing and how he's operating. And from within, Johnny pretty much becomes Ciampa. He becomes like Ciampa. And from within, he beats Tommaso Ciampa at his own game. And Johnny ends up becoming the villain. Ciampa needs to be a focal point in this entire storyline. Ciampa needs to be an influence over Johnny. You know, Johnny wants to come out wearing, you know, Venom-like attire with his jacket, right? He wants to be the dark Johnny Gargano. He likes the dark. He can get used to the dark. His wife is coming out wearing black lipstick and wearing all black like she's going to a fucking funeral. Tommaso Ciampa needs to teach Johnny Gargano how to be black. Remember Spider-Man? I'm going to go back to the fucking Spider-Man, right? With Venom, the shitty one. I forgot who played Venom in that movie, but the story that they told and the lore of Venom was that Spider-Man, he found the black symbiote, right? And it attached itself to him. Tommaso Ciampa needs to be that black symbiote. Tommaso Ciampa needs to be that venom running through Johnny's veins. And it's only going to be up to Johnny to break that shit away and realize, this is not who I am. This is not who I am. I need to take this fucking black shit off of me. I need to fucking get back to being Spider-Man. And I need to get back to fucking doing what the people want me to do. I need to save this fucking brand from this disease known as Tommaso Ciampa. That's where the storyline has to go. That's where the storyline has to go. I'm telling you again, I'm telling you all this again, and I don't believe I have to fucking explain this to you again. They missed the boat on Johnny. Johnny should have won the title in Philadelphia. I take nothing back from what I told you guys in January about Johnny not winning the championship against Almas in Philadelphia at Takeover. That was the moment. They didn't do it there, and they tried and tried and tried, and they couldn't because Tommaso Ciampa was just so great at what he did. And when you are that great at what you do, you need to be the number one fucking guy in this company. Tommaso Ciampa overtook Johnny Gargano as being the number one guy in this company. And he's being rewarded for it. Now Johnny needs to fucking stand side by side with Tommaso Ciampa. And he needs to be that black Spider-Man. That's what Johnny needs to be. And when the time is right, he's going to save New York City in the end, and he's going to be the hero, and Mary Jane's going to look at him, and she's going to fall in love with him, and it's going to be a fairy tale ending. That's exactly what they need to do. That's exactly where they need to go heading into TakeOver WrestleMania weekend. I don't want this in between Johnny Gargano. Okay? I don't want Johnny coming out getting, a mix of babyface and heel-like reactions. I don't want this tweener, Johnny Gargano. We're already seeing that on the main roster with several fucking people. Every heel on the main roster is in between a babyface and a heel, right? WWE is portraying Becky Lynch as a tweener. That's what they're doing. They continue pushing her as a heel, yet she's a fucking babyface and everything that she does and says. I don't want an in-between Johnny. I want a Johnny that's either a babyface or a heel. There's no doubt in my mind that Johnny's going to be a great fit for whatever role he's playing. But it's got to be one or the other. And it's got to be one or the other because you can't take away from Champa. Because I'm already feeling it. I know you guys have not said it, but I know you're feeling it. Tommaso Ciampa is already suffering, not by much, but you feel it. He's already suffering because of what's going on right now. Aleister Black, the hottest babyface in the company. Ciampa takes a step back. Johnny reveals the attacker. Tommaso Ciampa takes another step back. Tommaso Ciampa was, out of the three, Tommaso Ciampa was number 1. Now he's number 3. And he's got an NXT Championship match that everybody's looking forward to against the Velveteen Dream. You can't have Ciampa take 2 steps back. You got to keep the momentum going. Johnny is not an in-betweener. Johnny's either a heel or a babyface. In this story, right now, temporarily, he needs to be a heel. DIY needs to be back together. They need to form once again on NXT television. Whether they go for the NXT Tag Team Championships, whether they are just best friends on television again, based on what Ciampa has been tweeting in the last week and a half, it needs to happen. Though the explanation that Johnny gave as to why he attacked Aleister Black is pretty self-explanatory. He wanted Ciampa all by himself, and Johnny needed to take out Aleister Black in order to take down Tommaso Ciampa all by himself. That did not work out in Johnny's favor. Now he's got Aleister Black looking at him at TakeOver, and it's going to be a damn good fucking match. What everybody looked at as a horrific injury at the time it happened, WWE is capitalizing in the absolute most perfect way possible with everybody involved here. And I can't fucking wait for TakeOver. But that is my feeling on everything so far with Johnny, with Ciampa, and Black. I don't want it in between, bro. It's either heel or babyface. In this story, Johnny is the Black Spider-Man. Johnny is Peter Parker enhanced. He feels absolutely on top of the fucking world as if he can do no wrong. You build on that. You build on that until he comes to his senses. And then he sheds that fucking black suit. And once again is Peter Parker, Spider-Man. And he saves the day. That's what needs to happen, bro. That's what needs to happen. That was the biggest thing on NXT tonight. Other than that, we had a damn good show, man. Damn good show. Johnny revealed why he attacked Aleister Black. And the great thing about the promo that Johnny cut, they had him walk the path that he took before he attacked Aleister Black, man. I love NXT. I know you guys know what I'm about to say. I'm going to give you a 3-second start. 1, 2, 3. Attention to detail. There you go, man. I love it. And there's a reason why I'm an NXT mark. And they do everything the way it should be done. I love it. NXT tonight opened up with Heavy Machinery, Otis Dojovic and Tucker Knight versus Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler. Jackson Riker on the outside playing muscle. Forgotten Sons, I'm not a big fan. Listen, they know what they're doing in the ring, man. They are a formidable tag team. But I am not on their page just yet. I don't know what it is. I don't know what is holding me back from actually liking these guys more. I just don't know if I'm ever going to get to that point. Maybe it's because they're in the ring with teams that I actually enjoy more so than the Forgotten Sons. In this case, Heavy Machinery. I'm looking at Heavy Machinery tonight. I'm looking at Otis. I'm looking at Otis in a different light. Because the last time we seen Otis on NXT TV, he was in the ring with Tommaso Ciampa in a great main event. And Ciampa, just to go out there and wrestle Otis, showing you what the guy is actually fucking capable of, the guy can do no wrong, Tommaso Ciampa. He brought Otis to probably the best match of his fucking life. And Otis was hanging in there. Otis held his own in that match with Tommaso Ciampa, man. And I have a fonder respect for what Otis does. And I'm looking at Heavy Machinery, man. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, can these guys succeed on the main roster level? If you put them on a SmackDown Live and a Monday Night Raw, the answer is no. Because they don't really give a shit about tag team wrestling on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, and I don't know why. Apparently, Vince McMahon doesn't like tag team wrestling. Apparently, tag team wrestling doesn't make Vince money. Whatever the fucking excuse is, blow me. Okay? Tag team wrestling clearly is done the right way, and everybody loves it in NXT, so I don't know why you can't do it, but they can. It's got the WWE logo on it, does it? Do it! Heavy Machinery, I'm looking at Otis and I'm looking at Tucker Knight, and I'm like, man, these guys would be great on the main roster. They have the charisma, they have just the overall attitude to succeed in front of a main roster audience, man. Otis just alone has the vibe going that could really, latch on to a crowd, and vice versa. I love that, especially with his whole worm elbow drop thing. I think fans would eat that shit up. So I'm looking at Heavy Machinery and I'm like, man, these guys, they don't necessarily need a run in NXT with the tag team titles. They could get called up and they could be an Elias on either Raw or SmackDown. And believe me, Monday Night Raw could certainly use the services of a Heavy Machinery. You look at Heavy Machinery now, they could actually swing the tide of tag team wrestling on Monday Night Raw. They could feud with AOP, they could feud with a Revival. I mean, that's a fucking great deal right there. And like I mentioned on SmackDown Live, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Bo Dallas. Get the Wyatt family back, bruh. Get the Wyatt family back on Monday Night Raw. What the fuck you doing with those guys? Where's Bray? I got news on Bray this weekend on Off the Script. Where's Luke? Oh, JD, he's a SmackDown guy. When has that ever fucking mattered? Get Luke Harper back on Monday Night Raw. Get Eric Rowan back on Monday Night Raw. Get Bo with Bray. You got a new Wyatt family, man. That team could take over Monday Night Raw if you booked them correctly. A new Wyatt family. So if you do what I'm telling you to do right now, and you bring up a team like Heavy Machinery, AOP, Revival, the Wyatt family. You mean you Heavy Machinery? You got a tag team division right there. Right there. I don't know what else you need to do, man. Work with what you got. Stop wasting. It's like you're taking food and you're throwing it away. Use what you got. Heavy Machinery is a team that I think could really make a difference. You plug them in and they're going to make a difference. Apparently, NXT is pushing Heavy Machinery. I don't know where, and I don't know how far, but they're pushing Heavy Machinery. Because if the Forgotten Sons were on their radar as anything important, then they would have gotten the win here. Otis and Tucker Knight got the victory here. Very good tag team match. I love Heavy Machinery, man. I've always loved them. They get the win here, and it ended when Cutler headed up the top turnbuckle, and Tucker in the ring sends him off the top rope, landing on Jackson Riker on the outside. Otis with a pop-up power slam on Wesley Blake for the win. Heavy Machinery get the win via pinfall over the Forgotten Sons. Very good opener, man. Tag team wrestling is really, really, really good right now on NXT. Last week, we seen Candice LeRae confront Nikki Cross, who made her SmackDown Live debut on Tuesday in an impromptu match with Becky Lynch, which I know everybody is hoping is a one-off. I hope it's a one-off as well, because I have many, many, many issues with that. Oh, JD, why don't you give it a chance? No, I'm not giving it a chance, because if you date back to what WWE has done with Asuka, and you look at the current state of sanity, why the fuck would you want me to give Nikki Cross a chance on the main roster? please elaborate. I don't, and I won't. Nikki Cross is doomed if she's on the main roster. And it looks like she may be there for the foreseeable future. Because what they did tonight with the last woman that Nikki Cross was feuding with, she's actually moved on. So, I don't like this whatsoever. Nikki Cross is doomed on SmackDown Live, which we will talk about again on this weekend's podcast. Nikki Cross and Candice LeRae. Okay, she's moving on. And Candice LeRae wants a match with Nikki Cross, which I'm keeping my fingers crossed is going to keep Nikki Cross in NXT. This may be the swan song for Nikki Cross before she moves to the main roster completely. So, the media showed up at Candice LeRae's face when she was entering the Performance Center and asked about Johnny Gargano's attack on Aleister Black. She says she doesn't want to talk about it, and she's keeping everything with Johnny and her personal life and his personal life, under wraps. There's nobody needs to know what's going on. It's none of their business. So she's keeping her personal life and his business with Aleister Black separate, okay? She says then she's going to talk with William Regal about a match against Nikki Cross. She wants to get into other people's business. Candice is going to teach her a lesson. Kathy Kelly was backstage with Shayna Baszler, and she was with Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. I was going to say Candice LeRae. No, that was before. But Shayna Baszler was with the Four Horsewomen, or 2/3 of the Four Horsewomen. And they were talking about Kairi Sane. Now, Kairi is getting her rematch at TakeOver Wargames, which we all kind of suspected after Evolution. Baszler wonders how many times she has to beat Sane, and when people are going to realize how insignificant Kairi really is. William Regal actually showed up during this interview and interrupted Kathy Kelly with Shayna Baszler and said that, at TakeOver, Kairi Sane is invoking her rematch clause. And given the prior history with you two, I am going a step further. I'm giving her the rematch clause, and I am making the match a 2 out of 3 falls match. That is fucking beast. Now, we all loved what Shayna and Kairi have done already in their matches together up until this point. Can you imagine all of that rolled into one big ball, combined in a 2 out of 3 falls match? Can you imagine the time that these women are going to be given to tell a story, how great that story is going to be? After everything we've seen already, I absolutely love it. This is going to be a great match, and I expect, this is my personal opinion here and my prediction, I think Kairi Sane is going to win the championship. She is going to be a 2-time NXT Women's Champion, and Shayna Baszler is going to move to the main roster. That is my prediction for that, but I am very excited about a 2 out of 3 falls match with Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane at TakeOver Wargames. And being that it's a 2 out of 3 falls, remember Shayna Baszler was reportedly injured after Evolution? I don't think it's that serious, because if you're going to put her in a 2 out of 3 falls match, it's going to be a pretty hectic night for Shayna Baszler. So I think she is definitely ready to go. Dakota Kai versus Taynara Conti, or Conchi, however you guys want to pronounce it. If Moro was here, he would say Conchi. And we had Vic Joseph on commentary, and he pronounced it the way I would usually say it, Conti. So they went one-on-one. I'm not a big fan of Taynara at all. I'm a much bigger fan of Dakota. And Dakota got the win with her modified backstabber. Beautiful fucking move, man. She nailed it really good on Taynara. She gets the victory, 1-2-3. And she's moving on in the women's division. You could also see her on NXT UK. Now, I'll talk about that in a little bit, because I know you guys are probably expecting me to talk about NXT UK, and I will do no such thing here. And I will let you know why at the end of this review. So moving on with the rest of the show, man. We had a backstage segment with Mia Yim. Now, Mia Yim is the newest signee to the WWE Performance Center. She got her first NXT win last week. Backstage, Kathy Kelly is interviewing Mia Yim about the Mae Young Classic, and Yim is getting a contract during her time there and how excited she is, and now she's performing in NXT. She's training at the Performance Center with some of the biggest names in the industry. Kim says, it's a dream to be in NXT and training at the Performance Center. And suddenly, Bianca Belair, man. I love Bianca. She is fucking great. Bianca Belair comes walking in, purposely bumps into Mia Yim as she's being interviewed by Kathy Kelly. Belair wonders, why are you interviewing this chick, she says. And Bianca then goes on to say, listen, I've been here for 2 years. Been busting my ass for 2 years. Staying undefeated. And here you are looking to steal my fucking spotlight? So Mia Yim says, I don't understand the anger towards me. And if you want to fight, then we'll fight. She says Belair may be undefeated, but she hasn't beaten Yim yet. So Bianca just laughs, and the match is planned for next week. So we're seeing the undefeated Bianca Belair go one-on-one with Mia Yim. So Bianca is moving on from Nikki Cross. I was actually hoping for a third match between those two. Seems like we're not getting it right now, as Nikki Cross is moving on to Candice. And then after that, Nikki's probably moving to the main roster. That's the way I see things transpiring. Because the more names that are being added to the women's division in NXT, Nikki Cross is getting pushed back. Because everybody else is going to be more of a priority. So Nikki's probably going to end up on the main roster, which, again, I am not for whatsoever. Matt Riddle made his NXT debut last week. Can I just say that Matt Riddle's theme music is absolutely fucking perfect? You ever hear a theme song and think, man, that's a perfect theme song for that fucking pro wrestler? That is the theme for Matt Riddle, and that's the feeling I get with Matt Riddle, man. Fits him perfectly. Love it. Backstage, Keith Lee is with Matt Riddle, asking how it felt to win his first match. Cassius Ohno is sitting on some production crates, and he says, oh, it's Regal's new shiny toys. Ohno says the fun thing about toys is you can break them. I would pay to see Ohno versus Lee, Ohno versus Riddle, Riddle versus Lee, or all three of them in a triple threat match. Take my money. I don't know if we're getting Riddle versus Ohno. I figured we would be getting that for TakeOver Wargames. It might be too soon. They might actually save that for TakeOver Wargames, but it might be filmed for the following week on NXT TV, which I don't really necessarily like. I would like to put Matt Riddle in front of the LA crowd, because I think they go absolutely fucking bonkers for him. But I'm enjoying Matt Riddle so far. Keith Lee is there. I want to see more of Keith Lee. I think he's got a bright future in NXT. This is going to be good, man. It's going to be a nice little fun program between Riddle and Ohno. Riddle and Keith Lee, I'm assuming, is going to happen eventually. Ohno and Lee. Going to be great, man. Some good stuff there. There was a vignette for Wargames, which was absolutely fucking picture perfect, man. If that video package about Wargames did not get you hyped, I don't know if you're even a human being at this point. The music backing that vignette for Wargames was fucking brilliant. This is why I love NXT so much, man. The attention to detail. Wargames is not going to have some poppy fucking radio-friendly bullshit that they usually have on the main roster. They had a song playing in the background that is very reminiscent of what I'd listen to. A lot of double bass, a lot of heavy drumming, you know, guitar solos going off in the back. I'm like, this is war. This is Wargames. I love it. And I'm probably sure we'll get that again at the pay-per-view. And if you guys watch the show tonight, you know what I'm talking about, man. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It was brilliant. Fucking great. That shit got me hyped as fuck for Wargames. I can't wait. William Regal announced next week that 2 competitors involved in the Wargames match will face off, and whoever wins will give their team the advantage at TakeOver Wargames. We don't know who that is. I mean, if you read the spoilers, I'm sure you know who it is, but I did not. But I can only assume it might be an Adam Cole, and it might be a... We could see Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne. I think that would be a nice send-off for the go-home show. We could see that. Maybe Ricochet versus Roderick Strong. I'd like to see that as well. You know, we could see that. Kyle O'Reilly versus any one of them, really. So, I think it's either going to be O'Reilly or Cole versus Dunne. Or we see a Ricochet versus Roderick Strong or Kyle O'Reilly. I don't think we're going to get Ricochet versus Adam Cole again. That's too big of a match to just put on free TV. NXT knows better than that. So we might see any one of those other combinations that I just mentioned, but William Regal announced that 2 competitors from the 2 teams, 1 each, is going to be involved in a match, and that will give their team the advantage at Wargames on Survivor Series weekend. In the main event, man, it was the Velveteen Dream versus Lars Sullivan. Now, I look at Lars Sullivan. 2 things come to mind. Number 1, as of late. Number 1, I think Lars Sullivan would be very successful in the hands of Vince McMahon. I think Vince McMahon could do a lot with Lars Sullivan, and he's got that presence about him where I think he could play a monstrous character and a believable one on the main roster. He's not there yet, but he's getting there. Number 2, can we change Lars Sullivan's tights? Seriously. I think they are very, very cheap looking. They're nothing but standard red trunks, and it looks like a fucking 6-year-old child painted the word Lars on the back of his trunks. Can we get him a little bit more professional looking with the trunks? That's just a minor nitpick. You know, you guys might not feel the same way, but I think Lars Sullivan could use an updated wardrobe attire. That's just me. Velveteen Dream, I'm loving Babyface Dream. He is over as fuck right now, heading into Wargames. Velveteen Dream versus Lars Sullivan. This was actually a very good match. Velveteen came out very, very hot, very aggressive, needed to. And Velveteen Dream paid an homage to Ravishing Rick Rude doing the gyration, threw his jacket right at Lars Sullivan on the attack early. Lars kind of shut that shit down, and he pretty much set the pace of the match for the most part until Dream tried to mount a comeback, and he headed up top for a missile dropkick. Dream goes for a power slam, no luck. Sullivan does one of his own and does one of those pop-up power slams. Brutal looking, man. I absolutely love that shit. Sullivan heads to the top rope, and he misses the diving headbutt. Dream does get a Dream Valley driver on Lars Sullivan, which was very impressive in its own right. So, Sullivan misses the top rope headbutt. Super kick by Dream to Sullivan's head. Dream goes up top, gets shoved off. Sullivan looks at the big headbutt, but nobody's home. Dream Valley driver, like I told you. Dream up top, going for the Purple Rainmaker, but Tommaso Ciampa heads out, causing a distraction. Dream decides, instead of dropping the Purple Rainmaker on Lars Sullivan, he's going to go and jump off the top rope right onto Tommaso Ciampa on the outside. And he gets back in the ring. He immediately gets hit with a freak accident. 1, 2, 3. Velveteen Dream loses to Lars Sullivan. I knew that Lars Sullivan was not going to take a loss here. You cannot pin. You know, no matter how hot Dream is or no matter what type of match Dream has to take over, you can't be pinning Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan is a project, an NXT project, a Triple H project. You're not going to have him go into this match losing, especially clean, by pinfall. Just because Dream is the number 1 contender for the NXT title, sometimes it doesn't work that way. I like that they flipped the script a little bit. I like the fact that Lars Sullivan beat Velveteen Dream here with an assist from Tommaso Ciampa. I really do. Lars Sullivan gets the win, and Dream looked strong in the end anyway. Tommaso Ciampa got in the ring, started the post-match attack on Dream, and started yelling, "I am the champ. You don't share my spotlight. You don't share my main event. You're not in my league, Dream." So Ciampa swings away on his challenger at Takeover Wargames. He then lays the title out flat, and he's looking to plant Dream. I don't know what the fuck he was going for. Maybe a pile driver or a pedigree. I don't know what the fuck he was going for. But Dream hits a super kick and then a twisting DDT on the title. So Champa is knocked out. Referees come out. There's about 6 referees in the ring. They're all telling Dream, stop, stop, stop. Dream is going to the top rope. He wants to deliver the Purple Rainmaker. No, 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 not right now. Not right now. They take Dream off the top rope. So he's walking up the aisleway with the referees. He escapes the referees. He goes back into the ring, climbs the top rope immediately, drops the Purple Rainmaker on Tommaso Ciampa. I didn't think we were going to see it right now, but we got it, and he hit it on Tommaso Ciampa, and that was the way NXT goes off the air, with Dream actually holding up the NXT Championship. Dream is not winning the championship. Dream is headed towards the main roster. That is my honest opinion. Ciampa has bigger and better things to do with Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black in NXT over that said title, man. Very good episode of NXT. We got one more show. We got the go-home show for Wargames next week, but this was a very good show. It got across that, Dream is vulnerable. Champa is in Dream's head. Lars Sullivan gets a big win over the number one contender right now for the NXT Championship. We got the women's division heating up. We got Johnny Gargano giving us a reason as to why he attacked Aleister Black. Candice LeRae's playing a nice little factor into that. Good show. In the end, man, all in all, it was a very good show for NXT as always. I am not going to be covering NXT UK, man, because right now I am 3 episodes behind. And I know why they're rushing out the episodes, but to me, I can't really catch up at the moment. I have to binge watch the last 3 episodes, and I know you guys are telling me, JD, you got to go and watch. Pete Dunne versus Danny Burch was a great match. I know. I got to go back and watch. I'm not going to sit here and cover 11, 12 matches in a single sitting. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait till we get back up to speed, and then when they get back to a regularly scheduled program, now that they're on the network and they are doing it weekly, then I'll start incorporating it into the review. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold off for now until we get caught up to speed, because I know they want to be right up to where they need to be, or where they should be with the tapings. And then when they do, then we'll start covering right here on Wednesdays, man. So that's why I'm not doing it. I am a little behind, and I can't watch all this wrestling. I just can't do it. So we'll wait till they get caught up, and then we'll be caught up too. So that is NXT tonight, man. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications, man. I would really, really, really appreciate if you do. And I want to shout out Hunter. Remember, I mentioned Hunter Wright. He is a patron for the channel, and he writes for Sportskeeda. And he has a new article right now that he is predicting the next 5 NXT World Champions. So I want you guys to go check that out, man. I'll leave you guys a link in the comment section down below. Go check out Hunter's work, man. He is a patron to Team JD, and he does fine work over at Sportskeeda. So you guys might catch an interest in what he's talking about as far as the next 5 NXT champions. I could tell you just a couple of them off the top of my head, man. Johnny, Adam Cole, Ricochet, just to name a few. But I want you guys to go read Hunter's article, man. Some good stuff over there on Sportskeeda. Thank you guys so much for all that, man. I'm getting out of here, and I will see you guys tomorrow with more WWE 2K19 content. We got Episode 10, My Career, coming up. Premiere on YouTube at 3 p.m. We did Episode 9. We got a Call of Duty Black Ops 4 premiere that we did today. Make sure you guys go check that stuff out. SmackDown Live, Monday Night Raw review on the channel right now as well. If you guys missed anything, everything you need is linked in the annotation that you see in the top right corner. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow with more content right here on the channel, and on Friday for episode 247 of Off the Script. I'll talk to you guys later.